Good evening to each and everyone over here. I'm thrilled to welcome you all for today's informative webinar on Better the Brights, Brighter the Psyche when Cognition Meets Preventive Nutrition. I'm Shabnam, manager at Mediversal Academy, and I have the privilege of introducing our esteemed speaker for the evening, Ms. Samprickta Dhar. Ms. Samprickta is MSc in Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, a dynamic dietitian with a master's in dietetics and applied nutrition. She has trained at top hospitals like Ruby General and ILS Working across critical care, cancer nutrition, lifestyle counseling, and eating disorders. She has led awareness programs, contributed to innovative research, and holds certifications under Poshan Abhiyan and diabetes education. What makes her unique? She blends science with psychology, simplifying nutrition into everyday habits with empathy and warmth. And today she'll show us how what's on our plate deeply connects with our mind, mood, and well-being. Over to you, Ms. Samprickta.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Good evening, everybody. Am I visible?
Yes, you are visible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I am Samprickta Dhar. I'm here as a dietitian to present a topic about cognition and diet. And I will be very appreciable to share this that can help everybody present over here to get aware of the health outcomes in the community as such. So starting off with my first slide. Emerging researches shows that diet isn't is just about physical health. It's about the mental health as well. So in this PPT, we will dive into an intricate relationship between the mental health and the diet and how this has been a major part in our lives and how it can be very well suited to our recovery and resilience. So my first slide starts with a very short review of mental disorder. And is it an already ongoing epidemic or an upcoming epidemic? So the mental health disorders comprises of highest value. There are the number of years the people are losing because of their disability, the mental disability is this, especially within the working age group. I say it's between the, it's among the geriatric people as well, it's among the adolescents, and it's among the children as well. So it is like 1 in 8 people are suffering from this mental health disorder. And every year, 43.8 billion of people are uh, being just into this mental disorder, many suicides and all. But my presentation is just not about mental disorder. Let's not dive into that huge topic. It's just a fine line between the diet and the mental disorders. So how and why this mental disorder has been concerning and how it has been a mirror to the epidemic nowadays. So first is it is rapidly spreading across all the demographics. Like it's very common in the first row, if we see that 8 people are sitting over here, one, as I said, 1 in 8 people must be having this mental disorder. So it's the prevalence rate is very high, so high prevalence. Next is treatment gaps due to lack of infrastructure, lack of treatment infrastructure. People are not being treated to this, and they remain silent, and they suffer the lot. And lastly, the societal stigma and chronicity. So this is the main thing to be focused on. So we all know this taboo, the depression, the taboo, like it's not an illness, it's just a sadness. Just stay quiet, you will be okay. Let's not bother him, he is sad. No, you should properly focus or address this problem. Like stop, we should stop this stigma and taboo of this depression. So talking of that societal stigma and chronicity, we will hereby know this iceberg phenomenon of mental disorder. I find this as this phenomenon because more and more we see like number of cases we find as depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, panic episodes, and all. These all we find statistical data. We find across all the research paper. We find these data. But what about the data we haven't even seen? The data hasn't been collected. What about those data? So the data, a very small amount of data is this the portion of the iceberg which has been seen, and the maximum portion is the submerged portion which is not being diagnosed, which is not being exposed, and it remains silent, and it leads to chronicity. Speaking of that, I will go to the next slide, that is a direct snapshot. This snapshot explains us that how the mental disorders has been equally related to many chronic illnesses. Like you can see the diseases named from the left corner, the circulatory diseases, the respiratory diseases, metabolic diseases, neoplasms, parasitic diseases. These all diseases have equal number as the mental illnesses. These mental illnesses worsens the actual chronic diseases. So we need to address the mental illnesses. There is no doubt there are huge number of antidepressants, huge number of antipsychotic medicines. But what about the diet? What about the food we eat? Like a person is taking SSRIs, and he's taking a plate of samosas or a plate of biryanis. How can that work? So this interdisciplinary approach towards psychiatry and the diet is what I'm going to talk about in today's presentation. So first things first, we need to know what are the mental health disorders. So the mental health disorders is very common, like anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar disorders, schizophrenia, these. And how these has become a dependence towards those substances. Like the patient who is depressed, who is suffering from anxiety, will take the dependence of either alcohol, drug addiction like marijuana, and any drugs. Drug addiction, prescription medication, we will go to the psychiatrist, we will take huge number of medicines, and we will misuse all those, and the toxicity, it's all a loop. It's all a loop. But we need to address what the diet can do alone. I won't say that it's just not a standalone treatment. It's an adjunct. It's an adjunct therapy with the conventional treatment. So this is the flow chart which is given here. That is the dietary patterns which is which is to be corrected, which is to be focused on. Dietary patterns either pro-inflammatory versus the anti-inflammatory. Pro-inflammatory diets as in the high sugar foods, high fats, processed foods, saturated fats and trans fats, etc., etc., and the anti-inflammatory foods like the antioxidants, vitamin C, E, and all these anti-inflammatory foods, how these both can affect the entire flow chart. It's just the loop. So the pro-inflammatory diets can lead to dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is the imbalance of the gut microbiota. There are trillions of microorganisms in our gut, and so if there is a disbalance between the beneficial bacteria and the bad bacteria, as I say, so this can lead to dysbiosis. But if we take the anti-inflammatory, it can lead to the healthy flora or the healthy gut. This dysbiosis induces a systematic inflammation. Inflammation, as we know, this inflammation triggers the release of the cytokines. Cytokines are the proteins secreted by the cells. Basically, it's the immune cell signaling. Cytokines, as in the interleukin-1 beta, TNF, tumor necrosis factor alpha, CRP. These will release in the blood. Next, neuroinflammation. In neuroinflammation, we will get a microglial activation. In the microglial activation, the structure, the morphology of the microglial cell, that is a star-shaped cell, which is seen in the CNS. It is basically the primary immune cell which is present in the CNS. This microglial cell undergo a change and during the activation, and it induces a reduction in the BDNF. What is BDNF? BDNF is the brain-derived necrosis factor. Neurotrophic factor, sorry. The brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And this can lead to neurotransmitter and circuit imbalance. Neurotransmitter as in the serotonin, we know the happy hormones. The GABA, the dopamine, glutamate imbalance, these all neurotransmitters are gonna get imbalanced. And lastly, this can lead to mental health disorders. So this is the main flowchart I'm going to talk about in the entire PPT. Not this slide. These particular terms we are going to get memorized so that we can link each and every topic which I'm going to talk about in the upcoming slide. So the next slide I will talk about is from the digestion, how the digestion can lead to proper indigestion, can lead to depression. It depends on the plate. It depends on our plate, what we eat, what we take, and how our brain reacts to it. So basically, the gut is the second brain, as we all know. In the gut-brain axis, there is an axis. There is a bidirectional communication between the gut and the brain. So this bidirectional communication between the gut and the CNS, also termed as the gut-brain axis. And when we come to the mechanisms, the first mechanism is the neural pathway via the vagus nerves. The vagus nerves are the direct neural pathways between the ENS and the CNS, and the afferent fibers. The afferent fibers translate the sensory information to the brain, and then the efferent fibers take up the signals and regulates the motility and the secretion. Then we come to the second mechanism is the immune and the endocrine mediators. Immune, as I know, as I have said, this cytokine secretion, cytokine release, and the endocrine mediators, that is with improper or the imbalanced gut microbiota, it can lead to the overexcitation or the overactivation of the HPA axis. HPA axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal cortex, from where the cortisol hormone just moves from gut to the brain. It depends on the gut microbiota, the balance of the gut microbiota. So this second factor is this. Third is the kynurenine pathway. It is basically the tryptophan mechanism. Tryptophan mechanism, the gut microbiota regulates. The gut microbiota regulates tryptophan to release whether cytokines, whether the serotonins, that is the happy hormones, or the kynurenine, that is the neurotoxic product. This kynurenine can damage the neurons. it is neurotoxic. I am shifting to the next slide to give a proper view of this kynurenine pathway. So the tryptophan, generally the tryptophan has to get converted into 5-HT. 5-HT is the serotonin, hydroxytryptamine, 5-hydroxytryptamine. But the shunt pathway, besides converting it to the serotonin, it converts to kynurenine. Okay, and the neurotoxic products, quinolinic acid, it converts into quinolinic acids, and this pathway can lead to neurodegeneration. And it can also lead to many, it can disrupt the synaptic plasticity and leading to poor signaling of the neurons, and hence the neurotransmitter synthesis are gonna get affected. Coming back to the previous slide, lastly but not the least is the microbiota-derived neurotransmitter. As we know that most of the neurotransmitters are being synthesized from the gut. So the first things, the neurotransmitters produced by the microbiota, that is the GABA, lactobacillus and the bifidobacterium synthesizes GABA. Enterococcus and the streptococcus synthesizes serotonin, and the E. coli synthesizes DOPA and normox. And nearly 90% of the serotonin is synthesized in the gut, as we all know. Fourthly, the factors influencing the microbiome health. First factor is the age and the delivery pattern. Age is always a factor for the proper gut balance, gut-brain axis, whether it is impacted or not. And this delivery pattern as in if the delivery is being done via vaginal delivery, or as we say the normal delivery, we say the beneficial bacteria get more exposed to the baby. The babies get more exposed to the beneficial bacteria. But in the C-section, the baby does not get exposed to the beneficial bacteria. There is altered gut motility, maybe some increased risk of autoimmune risks. Okay. And then also the breast milk contains HMO, that is the human milk oligosaccharide, which has innumerable number of beneficial bacteria. So delivery pattern is a very important factor for microbiome health. Secondly, the antibiotics. The antibiotics also play a major role in gut microbiome imbalance. We say that many antibiotics we give just without any prescriptions. We have it as a throw. Then metrozole. These antibiotics disrupt the gut microbiota, and hence it disrupts the entire gut-brain axis, and hence leads to poor signaling of the neurons. It damages the neurons, the neuroprotections and all. So antibiotics has to be the second factor. Third factor, as I said, the breast milk versus the formula feed. Of course, the breast milk is more beneficial than the formula feed. And lastly, the diet, which is high fat, processed food, high sugar, refined foods. These diets can lead to leaky gut. What is leaky gut? Leaky gut is actually there's this signaling caused due to the pro-inflammatory cytokines are released, and this leaky gut can lead to inflammation in our body, which can further lead to IBS or any other gastric disorders. So from this, we know, speaking of this devil, we know that Western diet contains these type of nutrients, high fat, high sugar, which can lead to leaky diet. From there, I will switch to my another slide, which explains the Western diet. Western diet, firstly, it causes the microbiota dysbiosis and the leaky gut. It can also lead to obesity and adipose tissue inflammation. The guys out there, the people out there who are very much into fast food, the fried items, the fried foods, always ordering from Zomato, Swiggy, and all. These all can lead to leaky gut and inflammation, and also can cause microbiota dysbiosis, which can further lead to gastric disorders. And also the metabolic disorders, which will lead to systematic and metabolic inflammation. And also from the gut, it will go to the brain, obviously. And the brain, the blood-brain barrier, BBB, the permeability increases and it can cause neuroinflammation and neurodegeneration. So here I have talked about Western diets, which induces the releases of pro-inflammatory cytokines, as I said, interleukin-6, TNF-alpha, and interleukin-1 beta, which crosses this blood-brain barrier, as we can see in this picture, blood-brain barrier, and interfere with the monoamine metabolism. Monoamine metabolism is the synthesis of the neurotransmitter like the serotonin, GABA. So how this diet can influence the neurotransmitter synthesis and how it can disrupt our mood. It's just a chain. So this chronic inflammation, more and more Western diet, more and more spicy foods and all can lead to neuronal apoptosis. That is the cell death of the neurons. That can lead to reduced neurogenesis if there is no neurons left. How can the new neurons form? Neurogenesis is the process of forming new neurons. So how can they get? And that can lead to major depressive disorders. So now I can shift or switch on to a diet which we need to take, which we can take and take as not an option, but a necessity. That is a proper balanced diet. And the field of science which deals with this intricate relationship between diet and this cognitive impairment and all, this science is known as nutrition psychiatry. How this field of nutrition has connected a fine line with psychiatry. The entire thing is based on this. So, as I have talked about the gut-brain axis, this is a short diagram. We need to take a proper balanced nutrient-dense diet. And this can include these nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids, mind diet, vitamin B and D, probiotics, FCFAs, antioxidants, and keto diets. More or less, we are all familiar with these terms, right? So coming up with my first nutrient, that is the omega-3 fatty acids. So as we all know, the PUFA is the polyunsaturated fatty acids. It supports the cell membrane and its cell membrane structure and the hormone production also. And it also reduces the inflammation, PUFA. It is divided into two types, omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-3 is basically of the alpha-linolenic acid and omega-6 is the linoleic acid. Alpha-linolenic acid is divided into two types, DHA and EPA. As we all know, we talk of DHA all the time. In every advertisement, we talk of DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. It is very important for the brain development, for the brain health, and for the cognition. The DHA is very important. Eicosapentaenoic acid, and lastly, the arbutin acid. So firstly, I'm going to talk about omega-3 fatty acids, which is found in fatty fish, flax seeds, chia seeds, soybean oil. And omega-6, we find these in safflower, sunflower, nuts, and seeds. So this EPA, this has seen that the EPA and the DHA, the combined effect of these two nutrients has shown an improved effect on depression and anxiety and all the psychotic symptoms. So the EPA DHA supplementation if they are taken in a balanced ratio, in a balanced proportion. If this can show an improved effect. Also, EPA is much more has been seen that EPA is much more effective than DHA, but we have to take both of them together. So this supplementation causes a favorable omega-6 and omega-3 ratio. So the ideal ratio should be 4:1 or less than that. But in nowadays, the modern diet has been seen that the omega-6, the levels of omega-6 is much more than the omega-3 fatty acids. So it's like 15:3, 20:5. Omega-6 is to omega-3. So we need to supplement with the omega-3 fatty acids so that there is an ideal balance between both of them. Okay. Also, if this omega-6 is increased, also I can say that if there is omega-6 toxicity, it can lead to the release of pro-inflammatory cytokines, and also it can eventually lead to leaky gut. And this inflammation is mediated by prostaglandins and leukotrienes. But if we take this supplementation together, we can achieve a healthy and proper brain health. Okay. So if the EPA and also the dose is 1 to 4 gram per day, EPA plus DHA dose, and EPA plus DHA dose, if it this 1 to 4 gram, this dose is taken for 8 to 16 weeks, there is seen a significant improvement in the cognition and in the depression as well. It's like a combined effect is shown to be statistically improved data. And the effects we can see over here, the anti-inflammatory effects, neurotransmitter regulation, neuroprotection, and membrane fluidity. More the membrane fluidity and synaptic fluidity, more efficient is the signaling. So here is the omega-3 supplements. And second diagram is the vegan sources of omega-3. Omega-3. Also, I would like to tell you that the vegan sources do have less effect than the animal source, as it has a very low conversion rate. The vegan sources are having very low conversion rate compared to the animal sources. So it does have a fishy aftertaste and all, but it's eventually very the efficacy is more than the vegan sources. Coming up to the next slide is the mind diet. Mind your plate. I'm sorry, there are few marks on my slides. Can you please erase those if possible? Am I audible? Can you please erase this? If you can, we can please erase these marks from my slide. Thank you.
I have done. You're audible.
Okay, thanks. So coming up to the next slide is the mind diet. Mind your plate, mind your mood. So the mind diet is basically the hybrid of two diets, the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. DASH diet we have talked about is the dietary approach to stop hypertension. It's been talked of since the last decade. And also the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet basically is filled with leafy green vegetables, healthy proteins, healthy oils, olive oil as we talk of, nuts, seeds, and reducing of the processed food, red meats, sweets, sugars, and the fructose syrups, artificial sweeteners, etc. So what does the mind diet does? It delays the cognitive decline and reduces the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. It reduces the inflammation And also, I would like to say that the leafy green vegetables that we are seeing over here is comprises of folate. Folate helps in the acetylcholine mechanism, and acetylcholine mechanism helps in the memory sharpening, right? And second is the tyrosine, which is found in the diagram. We can see the tyrosine, which is found in fish, legumes, and poultry, nuts. It is a precursor of dopamine, and dopamine helps in the motivations and pleasure. Okay. And another we can see whole grains, B6, vitamin B6 is also present in this diet. Vitamin B6 is also a cofactor of tryptophan. Tryptophan converts into serotonin, which is a happy hormone. So how these diet and this cognition is related to each other, it's just visible over here. And the omega-3 fatty acids, which we have talked of in the fatty fish, it increases the serotonin receptor sensitivity. Lastly, the magnesium, which is found in the whole grains and the nuts, leafy vegetables, and all the dark green vegetables, supports the GABAergic tone, and it also increases the brain health. It also develops the brain health, and the polyphenols which are found in berries, the strawberries that are included. Berries 4 times a week. These polyphenols, berries contains polyphenols. These polyphenols can act as an antioxidant. Antioxidants can increase the levels of BDNF, and hence it can increase the signaling of the serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. So how this mind diet has been uh, a, a vital role in our cognition. And lastly, it supports neurotransmitter synthesis, as I've told, serotonin and dopamine synthesis, and it regulates the oxidative damage. Okay, so this mind diet has been introduced just to focus on the Alzheimer risk. It has been seen that 53% has been reduced. The Alzheimer risk has been reduced with high mind diet adherence. And also, it has been seen first RCT showing Mediterranean style diet improve depression through SMILES trial. So, what is SMILES trial? SMILES trial has been performed in 2017, and it has been performed. It's a 12-week RCT done in 67 adults, and it has been shown that how dietary intervention can improve major depressive disorders or symptoms like that. It has shown a marvelous effect. So yeah, so it has been a very much successful trial. Coming up to the next slide is the vitamin slide. Vitamin B and vitamin D. Coming to the first, vitamin B is water soluble vitamins, as we all know. These helps in neurotransmitter production, vitamin B6, B9, and B12. Where B6 and B9 and B12, these three are the major vitamin B complexes, which we find in the mood or any mood disturbances or any we find these as an effective vitamins. Methylation and homocysteine regulation by vitamin B9 and B12. This combination effect of B9 and B12 has been seen to reduce the homocysteine regulation. I mean, the more the more the levels of homocysteine, more is the inflammation, more is the leaky gut, more is the mood disturbances. So, B9 and B12. And third is energy metabolism in the cells, B1, B2, B3, and B5. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin has been seen to support the ATP production in the neurons. And lastly, B12, which helps in the myelin formation. That is the cyanocobalamin, which helps in the myelin formation. So many studies have been done. These are the studies. Folate and B12 improved outcomes in the depression treatment. This I was talking about. Folate and B12 had reduced This paper talks of this reduction in the homocysteine regulation. It has been proven by Poppin and Blander in 2005. A last high dose of B6, B9, and B12 slowed the brain atrophy in MCI, mild cognitive impairment. So these three vitamins are the major vitamins we can talk of, right? So the vitamin B12 is basically the egg we find from egg, fish, and meat, all the animal sources. Vegan sources, we don't get vitamin B from B12 from the vegan sources. So we just try to withhold with the animal sources for vitamin B12. Many cons are there for the vegan sources as well. So next, we are going to talk about vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 also, it's a fat-soluble vitamin and it acts as a neurosteroid hormone. So what does it help? Neurotransmitter regulation, as just I have said, anti-inflammatory role, neuroprotection. It protects the structure and the function of the neurons, production of the synaptic proteins like the BDNF. As I have uh, said it earlier, BDNF, more the BDNF, more efficient is the neural signal. Sources, as we all know, 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight per day can give us efficient levels of vitamin D. If not that, we can also take D3 supplementation, 800 to 1200 IU per day. And also we can get fatty fish as in the diet for D3. Various studies like low vitamin D linked in higher anxiety and depressive symptoms in general populations. This also vitamin D supplementation improve the depression scores in people with deficiencies. So vitamin D is playing a major role in depression-like symptoms. And also in a paper, there was how pregnant woman is with reduced vitamin D level has a risk of postpartum depression. We don't talk about we talk about postpartum depression a lot. It's better to check the vitamin D levels first. Vitamin D deficient depressed patients may require higher antidepressant doses to experience benefits similar to those whose deficiency is corrected by vitamin D supplementation. So first we need to correct the levels of the vitamin D by supplementing or by through diet. So coming up to the next slide, it's the probiotics or the psychobiotics. We have heard about probiotics a lot. Probiotics, prebiotics, symbiotics, and now it's the psychobiotics. So probiotics are basically the live microorganisms that, when consumed in adequate levels, confer better health benefits. So the live microorganisms that are beneficial are lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, etc. And how it can be a major part, probiotics. It can also help in the gut microbiota modulation. It can balance the gut microbiome. Second, neurotransmitter production. Neurotransmitter production, as in it helps in the synthesis of the serotonin and GABA. Also, it lowers the pro-inflammatory cytokines, that is the interleukin 6, TNF alpha, etc. It increases the anti-inflammatory actions, probiotics. It increases. That is anti-inflammatory action as in the interleukin 10, interferon. Okay. And lastly, it reduces the cortisol levels via the HP axis I was talking about earlier. Cortisol levels are the stress hormone, as we talk of. It reduces its level via this HP axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. This is a paper where it is shown. There is a paper. I'm going to zoom it. There are a number of diseases where we can see substantial increase or decrease in the bacteria. The number of bacteria is seen. Say schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, depression, as I was talking about, the anti-inflammatory cytokines like the interferon, this increases with the inoculation of the probiotics. So these are some of the studies which has been done in the past few years. And then it's the mechanism of how the beneficial bacteria in the gut microbiota helps in the proper gut-brain access. Okay, and these are the examples: paneer, desi curd, idli, buttermilk, etc. Also, one capsule of probiotic multivitamin, which consists of the strain Lactobacillus and Bifido, has improved the symptoms like depression up to 40%. So, probiotics is equally important like the other nutrients. Coming up to the next slide is the SCFS, small but mighty, the power of SCFS, short chain fatty acids. So the short chain fatty acids we talk of is the acetate. Basically, it's the acetate, propionate, butyrate, and pentonate. The mainly is acetate, propionate, and butyrate. So these are basically, it reduces the oxidative levels, reduces the neuroinflammation, protect the blood-brain barrier, and regulates the cell cycle. So first is the reduce the mitochondrial damage. It reduces the mitochondrial dysfunction as how it decreases the overactivations of the microglial cells I have talked about, and also enhances the catalase and the SOD, that is the superoxide dismutase. These all are the antioxidants present. This antioxidant activity increases with with this SCFs. Upregulation of the NRF, nuclear factor erythroid 2. MDA decreases the MD and the ROS. What is MD? MD is the malonyl dialdehyde and the reactive oxygen species. These two are the biomarkers of the oxidative stress. Oxidative stress or the oxidation we talk of, the free radicals. These are the biomarkers. So the levels decreases with the SCFs, with the help of SCFs. Next is reduces the neuroinflammation. It reduces the pro-inflammatory cytokines, that is the interleukin, the TNF, etc. I have talked of. Second is the inhibits the activation of the microglial cells. It reduces this activation. Pro-inflammatory phenotype promotes the T cell variations, reduces the activated astrocytes. Astrocytes are the star-shaped cells which are present. Protects the blood-brain barrier, upregulates the occludin and the zonula occludin. It's the tight junction protein which maintains the blood-brain barrier integrity. And lastly, it regulates the cell cycle and the apoptosis process. The cell death process, it protects from the cell death of the neurons. Inhibits the hyperphosphorylation of the D3, CDK6 and PRD pathways, upregulates the DNA repair-related genes, that is the FOXM1 and the BRK, and decreases the phosphorylation of the P53. P53 is the tumor suppressor protein, and this why to decrease this excess? If there is excess phosphorylation, it leads to the overactivation, and it leads to the neuronal apoptosis, and there is like hippocampal and cortical loss, and hence lead to depression. So there is a picture where dietary fiber is being fermented by the gut microbiota to produce SCFAs, acetate, propionate, and butyrate. So these are the foods: berries, apples, broccoli. These dietary fibers are to be intaken, and these dietary fibers are fermented by the gut microbiota to produce short-chain fatty acids. Secondly, the keto diet or the Atkins diet, it's the most trending diet nowadays. So the keto diet comes from the word ketosis. Ketosis is basically the breaking the fat for energy. Majorly we get energy from the carbs, but here we are reducing or restricting the carb and getting the fat, getting the energy from the fat by burning the fat. This process is known as the ketosis, and from there we get the term ketogenic diet. This ketosis, the fat is in this ketosis, the fat is metabolized into ketone bodies as in acetone, acetoacetate, and beta hydroxy acetate, beta hydroxybutyrate. These are the source of energy now. If there is low carbohydrate level, these are now the source of energy. So the ketogenic diet has primarily been taken for the epilepsy, the seizure treatment, and also it has shown improved plaques and tangles in AD, Alzheimer's diseases. Whereas, the ketogenic diet comprises of 80% fat, 15% protein, and 5% carbs. But there is a very strong and restriction to the carbs, which the people or the patients, as I say, patients cannot continue for a long period of time. They need carbs. They need a few carbs for sustenance, for their taste, or for their satisfaction. So they switch to Atkins diet, nowadays known as the MAD, modified Atkins diet, which contains 15% of the carbs and unlimited fat and protein. It's not unlimited as such. The fat and the protein are to be taken in a generous amount, but the carbs can be taken up to 15%. It's to less than 20 grams. Okay. So what are the positive effects we get? It enhances the composition of the gut microbiome, and it helps in the synthesis of the neurotransmitters, modulating the inflammation and the oxidative stress, mitochondrial activity, and improve carb metabolism and lipid metabolism, which inhibits the metabolic disturbances. It's the actual source of energy. The ketone bodies are the actual source of energy. It reduces the glutamate toxicity and increases the GABA, and hence decreases the ROS production, the reactive oxygen species production, which will act as an antioxidant and hence leading to less depression symptoms. It can alleviate the symptoms of depression and anxiety. Okay. And it has also seen that the symptoms of bipolar disorder and major depressive disorder has been reduced to an extent with this keto diet. So yeah, this is the diagram which I was talking about, where there is a restriction of the carbs, 5% carbs, and this 75% fat. So if there is less carbs, the body will take up the energy from the body fat, the adipose tissues, and this body fat will break into fatty acids. These fatty acids are going to translocate it to this liver. In this liver, the fatty acids are metabolized into ketone bodies. These ketone bodies I talked of. So coming to the next slide, it's the antioxidants. Antioxidants, we talk of from oxidations. It reduces the oxidation or reduces the oxidative stress by reducing or neutralizing the ROS species. There are two types of antioxidants, that is the endogenous, as we all know, glutathione and the SOD, and also catalase, and the exogenous antioxidants, that are the vitamin C, E, NAC, and beta carotene, which are non-enzyme. Okay, there are a list of antioxidants you can see over here, and with their mechanisms and with the mental health impact. It has been seen that vitamin A, C, and E, this combined effect, has seen to decrease the psychiatric symptom like depression to a major extent. It has been taken from journal, Indian Journal of Private Psychiatry. So if these nutrients A, C, E if this is taken for 6 weeks, it has shown a very diligent improvement in the depression. And also some antioxidants we get from various foods like beets and all beets. We get betalains. Green tea we have EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG, and also the polyphenols, that is the flavonoid, catechin, resveratrol. This acts as an antioxidant, which help alleviate the anxiety, depression, and symptoms. Lastly, but not the least, how I can not talk about this, IBS and irritable bowel syndrome. So we all more or less know about this. So IBS is basically a chronic GI disorder characterized by abdominal pain associated with altered bowel habits. So what happens? There was a trial which was performed by Monash Group from the Monash University. There was a trial, and the trial was seeing that carbohydrate-rich foods that are basically named as FODMAPs, fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. These carbohydrate-rich foods can lead to this IBS. How? They pull out the water when the undigested, unabsorbed carbohydrates uh, get settled in the lumen, intestinal lumen. They draw out the water from the blood to maintain the osmolarity, and hence by contraction, the diarrhea occurs. So, by visceral hypersensitivity, I will talk with the first pathophysiology, visceral hypersensitivity. In IBS patients, they are seen that there are hypersensitivity to the bowel walls, the stress receptors present in the bowel walls, with more and more water inoculations to the bowel and with the unabsorbed carbohydrates, the stress receptors get hypersensitized. And with the hypersensitization, they signal to the CNS. And this hypersensitivity of the stress receptors is basically occurs for major depressive disorders and anxiety patients suffering from major fibromyalgia and depression, anxiety. These patients have this sensitivity, high sensitivity to this stress receptors present in the bowel walls. And this stress receptor signals to the CNS, and this CNS amplifies the signals, and there this amplified signal uh, gets to us to this profound effect of abdominal pain. Okay. Second is the altered gut motility. Since there is a lot of water which has been pulled out from the blood to the lumen, the unabsorbed food and water gets it's very liquidy, and it passes through the uh, colon very quickly, and thus the diarrhea occurs. The diarrhea, it's known as the IBS D type. It's the diarrhea type. Also, we have the constipation type, which is the IBS-C, constipation. And third is IBS-M, which is the mixed one. Both occurs, the diarrhea and the constipation both. Thirdly, it's the gut microbiota dysbiosis, imbalance in the imbalance in the gut microbiome. Gut-brain dysfunction, of course, if there is a disbalance in the gut-brain microbiome, there has to be a gut-brain dysfunction. Lastly, the immune activation and the low-grade inflammation. Obviously, the inflammation will occur due to the leaky gut. When there is the intestinal distension due to the gas and the water, like unabsorbed food which is there in the intestine, the intestine will distend. It will the distension will cause this immune activation, and it will lead to inflammations and release of pro-inflammatory cytokines as well. And finally, it leads to psychological factors like the depression and the anxiety. Irritable. The name sounds irritable. The psychological or disorders are related to this condition, this syndrome. So, what is this holistic approach or the criteria we can find out whether the patient is suffering from IBS or not? It's called the Rome 4 approach. It's the Rome 4 approach. It consists of three criteria. It's the pain times, that is the number, it's a pain. The pain as in the pain, the stomach ache is related to the defecation. If the patient, while defecating, if the pain reduces while defecation, then we can name this as IBS. Times, how many times, the frequency of stools, the look or the appearance of the stool, how the stool looks like. So more than two, if this comes into action, we can see that the patient is suffering from IBS. And if this symptoms carry on from more than 1 day per week, or maybe for 3 months, we can say this as a IBS syndrome. As I was talking of FODMAPs, the fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and the polyols. This is a large class, as I said, unabsorbed, non-digestible carbohydrates with high osmotic capacity. These FODMAPs increases the bowel content, and which makes it to the diarrhea, as I said, and producing gas and SCFAs. As I said, H2, CO2, these gases are produced since these SCFAs are being fermented by these bacteria. So the gas will occur. So we prefer with the low FODMAP diet. Low FODMAP diet. This we generally say there is a three-phase in the IBS diet. That is the restriction phase, the full removal of the FODMAPs, like the foods which are high in carbohydrates, carbohydrate-rich foods. We need to exclude that from our diet, daily diet. First phase. This is to be carried on for 4 weeks. Second phase is the reintroduction phase. That is, we gradually introduce one by one foods into that diet. It's up to the individual's tolerance. Which food is causing more irritation, it's causing pain, or it's causing diarrhea, or anything. We will introduce those foods gradually. It will take 6 to 8 weeks. And lastly, it's the personalized phase. That is, you will get a plate or a diet which is filled with your balanced foods, which will not cause any irritation to your gut microbiome. Everything is in that plate itself. So this was all about the cognition and the diet. So to sum up with my presentation, I would like to say that a proper balanced diet, which will contain the omega-3 fatty acid, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory foods, then probiotics, then SCFAs, that is the dietary fibers to be included. These foods to be, if we include in our diet, we can see a major or improved uh, psychotic symptoms in depression, anxiety, and GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar syndrome, ADHD, and panic disorder. I would like to also add that it's not only an antidote. It's not the only antidote we will talk about. It's also, I have mentioned it earlier, that it's an adjunct therapy. It has to be taken synergistically with the conventional therapy or the medications as we take. So these both will act synergistically to give an improved effect on the brain health and cognition. So to end up my presentation with a short quote by Anne Morin, that is, The food you eat can be either the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. The choice is yours. So do prefer your diet carefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Samprickta, for this insightful session. We will be starting the Q&A session, so I request everyone to write their questions in the chat box. Ms. Samprickta will answer them one by one. If anyone is having any questions, please write in the chat box. And meanwhile, I'll be sharing the certificate link in the chat box. Everyone, please do fill the certification form. You will receive the certificate in your mail.
Thank you so much.
Someone is asking, can we add fibers in the diet?
Um, if the patient is suffering from IBS, the answer is no. The healthy gut can tolerate fibers, dietary fibers. As we say to the healthy patients, we should add dietary fibers to the diet for easy mortality, for increased mortality, like for a good gut, we should add dietary fiber. So yes, you should accept IBS patients.
So
So
someone
there
is.
is a question.
Mhm.
In terms of vitamin content in diet, what would be best for office goers? So I would suggest that tiffin for a sedentary worker, the office worker should have to be the sedentary worker. So you need to have high calories frequently. If not frequently, you should add vitamin B6 and vitamin B12 as well. 12 as well we can get from the meat, chicken salad as we get. It's very easy to prepare. It's just the grilled chicken and some lettuce and maybe some other vegetables, dark green vegetables as a combined, and you can take that as a like tiffin or you can have it as a main meal as well. All the vitamins are important for the office goers. There is no such vitamins we can avoid, like you can't take that. The all vitamins as a whole we can get through dark green vegetables. So we can include the dark green vegetables in our day-to-day diet. Um, it's from Dr. Rohit Kakkar. Thank you. My only question is how to gain weight only through diet in healthy way. Mostly patient eats a lot, still complains of that I'm getting zero increase in weight. All lab investigations are normal. Okay. So we say that there is the metabolism of the person is very fast. So the amount of food and the metabolism doesn't match with each other. So how to gain weight? Yes. If you eat frequently, like uh, taking if you are not diabetic and staying in that case, like you can take short meals in the breakfast, like you can take have oats or maybe veg sandwich with a I will prefer a breakfast combined with carbs, protein and fruits, this three all together. So maybe you can take veg sandwich, egg, and maybe a banana or papaya or apple in the breakfast, and maybe around 10 to 11, maybe when you are in the workplace or in the hospital, you can have a, fruit shake or I will prefer a raw fruit. And in the lunch, you can take a full plate of animal source, which we say the protein based. Fish has to be included in day-to-day life. And if the person is vegan, I will say the soybean and this tofu tempeh, these should be included in our diet. Dal is must in our diet. So these should be included in our diet in day-to-day life. And in the snacks, I would say that same we can eat chira, muri, or something like uh, egg bhurji. We say egg bhurji with tea. And in the dinner, by 8, we can have the same meal as the lunch. You can increase the amount of rice in the lunch, and also you can do it in the dinner, but also roti will do the work. Uh, the next question is from Adil. Ketogenic diet, is it good? What if a patient has fatty liver like that? Ketogenic is good as in it's for the muscular buildup and all. And to reduce weight, we suggest ketogenic diet. But many of the patients I have known has not stick to that diet for a long period of time. So for a fatty liver, I guess the carbohydrate intake should be like decreased, but the unlimited fat I was talking about, that should also be coming to an extent, like to a very less extent. So yeah, it's not toxic, but you can have it have it for a while. My only question is how to gain weight only through diet in a healthy way. Okay, this one. If the patient is vegan, then what is the vitamin B12 source? This is the only debate I was talking about. Vitamin B12 is actually everything is the animal source. So the vegan people do have deficiencies in vitamin B12. So it's better vitamin B12 and folate to be taken as supplementation in this case. The tabs is what I was saying. Is there any diet for hallucinations? Are these beneficial for cancer treatment? I'm sorry, I will get back to you. I have not really got a paper related to this. I would surely, can you please take my email? Uh, my email is right there in the front slide, or maybe someone from here
We
can
can
share it.
share it with them, Sampritka. We can do
Okay,
that.
okay, fine, fine,
Yeah.
fine, perfect. Among the older people, say 60 plus, does probiotic act the same way in the younger individuals? No. As I said, that age is a factor for gut microbiome. So with the growing age, the beneficial bacteria reduces. So the probiotics should be added to the diet in 60s age. So in every geriatric people, we say that they should include probiotics in their diet since there is a reduction in the beneficial bacteria with their age. So yeah, wheat is avoided or not in IBS. Wheat is avoided. It's the BROW, brow is wheat is avoided. Barley, rye, oats, and wheat. These four are avoided in IBS patients. Is it possible for a IBS obese patient to gain a healthy weight only with diet? Um, is it good to take vitamin supplements in a day-to-day basis? It's good. Also, with a consultation with a physician or your near doctor, um, multivitamins you can take. Is it possible for IBS obese patients to? Yeah, IBS obese patients can gain a healthy weight. Firstly, they have to go to a state where their stools are normal. Like they are not, there is no more loose stools. There is no more diarrhea. They have to come to that state. As I said earlier, that it can also come to a state where the patient is now constipated. For that, the like the patients are given medicines for constipations, like as I know, D-cyclamin are given for the constipation. And with that medicine, TCA is also given for that depressive disorder. And with that, you can also add the healthy fats. See, the fats is nothing to do with the IBS. The fats, the good fats they can have. So the good fats like cooking in like extra virgin oil or the olive oil, and a few like good diets, as I will say, a few fruits which are avoided. I will say that fruits as in the berries, guavas, dragon fruit, kiwi, papaya. These fruits are to be included, but the fruits like the watermelon and overripe bananas, these are not to be taken. And in rice, I must tell you that rice can be taken in obese patients, but in a very, if the patient is obese, the rice should be restricted to a very minimal quantity. And with that, he can also take moody chura, which contains very less calorie, and also they can have dosa, idli, and all. So yes, Dr. Pandey here. Can you please talk of gluten and its adverse implications now? Also talk about milk and cheese beyond a certain age. Can you please talk? Yes. Gluten, IBS patients basically go through this gluten intolerance and lactose intolerance. And this patients with gluten intolerance has been seen that they have shifted their diet to some other healthy diet, not gluten, excluding the wheat brow diet. They have shifted to some other diet. So yes. Um, Is there any free trusted AI source that we can refer to for personalized dietary advice, how to make dietary plans for OPD patients? For example, for cases of diabetes mellitus HT. Okay, there are huge number of sites, AI sites that are being seen, and I am not expertise on that fact that which AI is better for uh, interpretation of this dietary intervention. So I'm sorry, but I will look forward this question. You can also send me this question to my email. I can just search for you, and I will talk to my colleagues as well if they know stuffs like that. Okay. Can you please give me diet plan for IBS patients? Uh, sure. The diet plan should be personalized. So, are you saying I would give a rough draft of it, or I will just write it with a proper plan? Can you please say it, Dr. Zia Momin? Doctor, please provide the PDF of the lecture. Sure, the PDF will be provided. Okay, I will drop my email here. A patient with hypertension can live a healthy life only with exercise and diet.
Doctor, with respect to email, we will reach out to the team. I will con. This is Vijay.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Hello. Okay, a patient. It's a question from Raji. A patient with hypertension can live a healthy life only with exercise and diet without any medication? No, nothing is possible without medication. And being a dietitian, I cannot say that only diet can help with the proper lifestyle. It's, as I mentioned, it's not the only anecdote. It should be the primary concern of all the people. Uh, and also medication should be taken. And if the medications are taken, the diet should be maintained and the diet should be looked onto. It's the foremost important thing to be looked onto. So nothing in hypertension, diabetes mellitus, these all can be improved with proper diet, but only diet can solve this problem or the comorbidities. It can't happen like that. For a patient who undergone laparoscopic laparotomy with high cholesterol and uric acid, with fatty liver and pancreatic fatty deposits, what would be great diet for that patient? In our hospital, Ruby, there was a patient with a laparotomy with high cholesterol and uric acid. Firstly, we go with the less spicy and very soft, bland diet, as I say. So, since there is a pancreatic fatty deposits and fatty liver, so firstly, the soft, bland diet, then gradually taking the diet to the bland diet. Uh, Bland diet as in no wheat, no milk. The bland diet we should shift to that. So yeah, this diet is better for this condition. So yes.
Sorry, there was a small announcement. Hi, doctors, please don't ask for the email ID. Miss Samprita will be busy, but please reach out all your questions to us. We will direct it to Miss Samprita and we'll get your answers. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. How much are monosodium glutamate good for health for children and aging population? Monosodium glutamate is toxic for like the health. We say the Chinese restaurant syndrome. It occurs due to this. So this is not healthy for our body. Like the Chinese foods we eat, chow mein and all, fried rice, they give this thing, monosodium vitamin. It's not healthy. It contains carcinogens. It can cause cancer. So yes, it's not healthy. So yes. Any more questions?
I guess we are done with the Q&A session. So once again, thank you so much, Ms. Samprickta, for this insightful session. On behalf of
Yes, sir.
everyone, I extend our sincere gratitude to you, Ms. Samprickta. Thank you so much for the
Thank you so
session.
much. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
the opportunity, for giving me this opportunity and platform to show my field in such a nice audience. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'll be again pasting the certificate link in the chat box. To get your certificate, please fill the form. And for further queries, you can reach us on Facebook or Instagram. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram platforms. Thank you so much, everyone.